And welcome back to Atreyu News. RNC sets a new record under Trump. The Republican National Committee filed a record-setting $19.8 million January FEC report on Monday. The Daily Caller has learned that $19.8 million makes January the best post-election fundraising month in RNC history. And the records just keep on breaking. I think Trump broke almost every single Republican record there is to break. I am encouraged by the historic support shown by Americans across this country as our party unites under President Trump, said RNC Chairwoman Rhonda Roumie McDaniel. It is clear our message of bringing change to all people is resonating, and I am committed to harnessing this momentum as we continue to build on the success we earned in 2016. The RNC never been better equipped to champion the Republican agenda and use the resources to grow our majorities in 2018. It's because this is a reprieve from a very divine power, in my opinion. The way things all came together, the very thing the Democrats said would happen to the Republicans happened to them instead. There's way too many things appearing as coincidence for me to think that God does not play a part in this fight. Breaking. ISIS is falling. ISIS is losing their last Iraqi stronghold after Trump lifted military restrictions, allowing the U.S. soldiers to get back in the fight. Go get 'em, boys. Developing. Iraqi defense forces fighting to reclaim western Mosul, ISIS' last Iraqi stronghold. Wipe them from the earth.
Secretary Mattis's visit to Baghdad comes as the fight for Mosul enters a new phase. For 4 months now, Iraqi forces have focused their firepower on the eastern part of the city and now firmly control it. This weekend, backed by U.S. airstrikes and U.S. Special Forces on the ground, the Iraqi military has begun its effort to push ISIS out of the western side of Mosul. Retaking the rest of Mosul, though, may not be an easy task. The western part of the city is home to much narrower streets that will slow armored vehicles, and there are still hundreds of thousands of civilians in harm's way. But ISIS is losing ground, and it appears to be on its last legs in Iraq. Still, U.S. commanders expect to stay in Iraq even after ISIS is pushed out of the country.
I assure you we are going to stand by you through this fight. We'll stand by you and your army in the future so that your sovereignty is protected by the Iraqi forces.
The U.S.-led coalition is expected to continue the fight against ISIS in Syria using Iraq as a base. President Trump has asked the Pentagon, though, to draw up new U.S. battle plans to ramp up the fight against ISIS. Secretary Mattis is expected to deliver his new strategy to the White House sometime in the next week or so.
It's terrible what happened to Iraq and the Iraqi people. Almost all the Christians that used to live there under Saddam Hussein's regime have either been killed or fled. The entire country's in ruin, and from what I understand, they have electricity a few hours of each day. Terrible. Even though it wasn't perfect during Saddam's regime, before the Allies showed up and destroyed the place, it seemed to have been better. Fight breaks out in British Parliament over President Trump. Oh, he's just causing waves across the world, isn't he? British Parliament members broke out into a heated debate over the decision to extend President Trump an invitation for a state visit. You really think Trump gives a crap what any of these fools think? He's just waiting for the European Union to fall apart, as it is inevitable, especially at this point. The Hill reported a divided British Parliament on the Monday took on whether the United Kingdom should move forward with an invitation for an official state visit by President Trump. Some members of the Parliament hurled insults at the U.S. President and called for UK lawmakers to stand up against Trump, whom one Labour Party MP said acts like a petulant child. But they look like children screaming at one another. None of them have ever even had a real job or produced a real job. There are great dangers in attempting to give the best accolade we can give anyone. Flynn said. It would be terribly wrong because it would appear that British Parliament, the British nation, the British sovereign, is approving of the acts of Donald J. Trump. But other MPs defended the invitation. Withdrawing it, they argued, would be detrimental to the close relationship between the UK and the United States, as well as an insult to the American people. America is our greatest ally, Conservative MP Simon Burns said. It has been for a considerable amount of time. It has stood by us shoulder to shoulder in our hour of need, as we did in their hour of need, particularly during 9/11. The debate was spurred by a petition urging the UK government to withdraw Trump's invitation for a statewide visit that garnered 1.8 million signatures, but the country's Foreign and Commonwealth Office said in a statement last week that the visit would not be cancelled. Well, give me a break. He's the most powerful man in the entire world. You want to make an enemy of him? You're going to see what happens to you.